We're now live! Yay! Uh, Welcome everybody to our second episode of Politics and Plagues, which is set in Dungeon World and is a Sarzameen campaign setting. Um, and yeah, we're all excited to play and see what happens. But before we start off, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Roll20, Tabletop Loot, So Nerdware, and Devin Brew for sponsoring and supporting this channel. In addition, if you'd love to support us, there are two ways to do it. So the first one is it's September, so subs are half off for Twitch. And also as a little thank you for subbing, anyone who subs or gives us 500 bits, sub tier 1, all the players get a reroll. And if you give 1,000 bits or a tier 2 sub, then everybody gets a crit. Or in Dungeon World, it's a 12. In addition, we have our very own Patreon. Our Patreon supports the bulk of our operations here, and subs and bits will give you awesome emotes while giving us some extra benefits. So check out the Patreon. If you type exclamation mark Patreon.
Boom.
Yay. And also, sponsors will give you a list of all their awesome links. Thank you. And with that, let's quickly go around the table and find out more about our players and who they're going to be playing. So we'll start with, on my left, our very own Lauren.
Hi, I am Lauren. I'm playing Yasmin, the Furball Ranger. I apologize for the occasional shaky cam and weird angle of the video, but I'm having a pain flare-up today. So, yeah, I'm glad to be here. I've been looking forward to this game all week.
Awesome. And I'll just repeat once again that I do have an open table policy. I guess that's what it's called. Where if you gotta go do something, just go, and don't switch your camera off, but just cover it if you need some privacy. And with that, we go to the player on my this way. I have trouble with rights and lefts. So that'll be Jess.
It's a me. Hi, everyone. I don't remember. Yes, okay. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter. I'm still waiting for my second wind and coffee to kick in. I am so excited for this campaign. I want to live my watery druid dreams today.
And what would your watery druid be called?
They are Karuna.
Awesome. And going down below, Simon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Simon. I am at Lucha Libris on the Twitter, and I am playing the Elephant Folk Bard, Madur. Looking forward to getting up to various musical shenanigans and intrigue.
And last but certainly not least, Fox.
Hey folks, my name is Fox Barrett at Fox_Barrett on Twitter, and today I will be playing Sharmilla, the human fighter.
Awesome, and you may notice from last time we are missing Kate. Unfortunately, certain life commitments have come up, and she is unable to join us for the rest of the campaign. But we love you and miss you, Kate. And as far as the story goes, currently you have not taken a rest yet because there's just one or two beats to finish before end of the night. So Kieran, which is the thief that Kate was playing, will be there in the background, and then you will all find out what happens once the next day comes. With that being said, who would like to give a very quick recap of what happened last game? I generally enjoy letting the players tell the story because it's far more interesting than any recap I could give.
Don't all jump in at once.
No, because all I could think of was suspicious chicken, a terrible meal that we modified beyond belief, and then a really feels moment from Mador.
Yeah, to the best of my recollection, we are either working for a merchant caravan or commissioned to guide or protect it.
We kind of are a merchant caravan.
You
We are the
are.
merchant caravan,
You
yeah.
are the merchant caravan.
We are the
You are your
caravan.
own. Yeah.
So we've arrived in this town, Firdaus.
Yes.
And noticed that tensions are a little high here. Noticed a sort of a rivalry between some of the locals' performing houses, I believe.
Yes.
And so in the process of breaking up the fight, we were extended an invitation to visit one of those houses. And in the process, discovered one of the dancers for that performing house had been attacked by the rival house. And so we did what we could to get some information out of them so that we might be able to help, and healed their wounds. Also,
Yes.
there was some horrible chicken stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Bad chicken all around.
Chicken.
There was a whole food situation. But we also discovered that something has been fouling the local water supply.
That's right.
Basically, the entire city floats on, so. Don't know what yet, but it's not good.
Yep. And you notice some sort of a quarantine in the lower Chawl or the lower district sort of slum area. And there were healer tents set up, which you didn't investigate at the time, but perhaps you may want to investigate today or next episode or whenever. Oh no!
Hint.
You can do whatever you want.
Players. I got you.
All right. So with that being said, we pick up from where you last left off, which is you had just spoken to Nargis, the dancer, and actually with a very good tale and some arcane arts, you managed to accelerate her healing, and she might still have her career once she is done healing. As you sort of, I will say that you are done interviewing her and you have just left. You're still near the Gulbahar if there's anyone else you would like to speak to, but otherwise, what do you all want to do?
So what all did we learn from this girl?
You learned that she was making a house call when a bag was put over her head and she was sort of ambushed from behind, and her legs, like basically her money makers were broken. Her legs were
Right. Let me narrow that down a bit. Did we get like any leads on who might have done this beyond it was an ambush? I'm looking through the bad notes is what I'm learning.
I think what I remember is that she said she couldn't get a look at the people that attacked her, but she heard voices saying that they were from the rival performing house.
From the Angurkana.
Angurkana, yeah.
Yeah, I'll type down the spelling of that.
Got it. Okay.
And she had, the only thing she saw before basically being bagged was the sleeve of what she thought was the guards, like the bouncer uniforms of Angurkana.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seems like there's a chance it's them. There's a chance it's someone impersonating them, or she just didn't get a good look, and that's the closest thing that we can come to.
It's our only lead, so I mean that's what's up next for sure.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the night is not exactly young, but it's not very late either. Like, now most entertainment areas, including the entertainment district near the docks, the Gulbahar, which you are at right now, is in full swing, and there are patrons and customers coming and going. It's pretty busy now. Like, the nightlife has begun. So yeah, where would you like to go?
Do we want to go straight to the Angkor Khana, or
is there any reason not to?
We can see if my cousin's there.
For example, that's a good thing we can definitely find out.
I wonder if it's possible that we could learn some of the common perceptions of the Angkor Khana before we step into the proverbial lion's den.
All right.
Fair enough.
How do you suggest going about doing that?
Well, where do lots of people gather that aren't here at the Golduhar? Because like we need like a group of people who are feeling amicable to talk. So like, this is where I portray my ignorance of like, is there like a bar we can go to or equivalent?
Well, yes, there are several sort of sit-down restaurants and bars in this area, as this is sort of but it's very, let's just say, for a more wealthier class of patrons. You do have the coin to spend over here if you choose. Or you could go to where the docks are, which I can show you in so the entertainment district and sort of the where the Angkor Khana and the lower district entertainment areas are over here, and you're currently here, which is in sort of the middle to upper class districts.
And how long of a walk is that, just so I have an idea of scale?
About an hour, and you had to kind of go around the lake.
Yeah, you have to like circumnavigate the lake basically to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we want to risk it with these highfalutin folks, we can give it a shot at it. Like, they've got the money to spend on a night's pleasure, so I feel like they would probably be more in touch with these two groups anyway. But I am but a humble sword swinger. Know I not the ways of such frivolity.
Well, I would say part of your if you will, if you would like to go along with that, is that as a warrior from your background, you would have been like a bodyguard for a lot of nobles. So while you may not have engaged in it yourself, you have some inkling of what wealthy patrons like to do. And you notice similar, maybe not from where you're from, but you notice similar, nobody ever walks alone. They always walk with some sort of retainer or a bodyguard.
No, yeah, for sure. But Sharmilla is no leader, which is why I turn to the group and go like, we should go talk to people. Where do you think we should go, Mador? You seem to be kind of in charge.
I would not mean to impose my my position. I imagine that you are correct that those with coin to spend are certainly aware of the ins and outs. That being said, I see an argument for us understanding the perspective of the less fortunate. Perhaps they will be less biased in their perspectives than those who may be able to choose where they take their entertainment from.
Also, I just remembered that another great place to perhaps get the beat of what's going on would definitely be all the street food vendors, because when people are not entertaining, they are feeding themselves, and there's always a throng of people around these night vendors. Except for Murgi. Murgi's weird. Nobody goes around Murgi.
Good reason.
I wonder why.
Woof.
I turn again. Karuna, where do you think we should go?
More people sounds not productive. Just find a select few, but I would lead with Mador.
Hey, Yasmin, what about you?
I want to find my cousin, so we could go.
You have a cousin? You don't say, Yasmin.
I do. He's here somewhere, and last I heard, he was a courtesan. So if he's not where we just came from, then he's with the other house. So we could go there, but there's also all the sick people, and that seems like it's bad. So we could ask people about that. And you said it's coming from the water. So ask them when they started drinking the water? No, they always drink the water.
Why don't we focus on the courtesans and the issue with the rivalry here? The water is ever present, as you say.
One problem at a time.
The water's making them all angry. I mean, when you're sick, you're not in the best mood.
But you speak so many more words than me, Yasmin. Good point.
I think it might be caused by a web of complex interpersonal relationships leading to this conflict, but that's
a lot of words. Those are complex words, brave warrior.
This is why I like being out in the wild.
I am not a fool.
And I assume you're making your way to the lower district as you're walking and talking.
Let's try and hit the food vendors. Get the pulse of the city.
Yeah, so you make your way and you see there's revelry in the entertainment districts. Near the docks there is music blaring from 2 or 3 different venues, the loudest being the Angur Khana. It seems like whatever entertainment is set up over there is now like in its prime time. All the vendors are very fast, like you can hear the crackling of fire, the movement of dishes, like the sizzling of food as it's being tossed around and like quickly fried, quickly stirred, and dished out to hungry people who look pretty inebriated. Think basically like this like club block and there are food vendors in front of it and everyone's super drunk and just enjoying themselves. So a very similar thing. And as you
Gen Con.
Yeah. It's food trucks on college campus.
Yeah, pretty much. You can hear things about, oh my god, yeah, Angur Khana's got some really good talent coming in. Yeah. Oh, ever since the Angur Khana came here, the entertainment's just been like so much better than, just going up than, all this negotiating and everything. Now I can just have dinner and watch a show. It's great. And you hear these sort of random things. If you want to find out more, you can certainly overhear or question or whatever you would like to do.
I look over at Madur and I ask, why is singing and dancing so important here? Why are these troops rivalry?
Oh, music and entertainment are an important part of any life, is it not? To enjoy yourself. Our time on this plane is limited, and we must do what we can to live life to the fullest here. And I imagine that, as Yasmin has been saying, if tensions are so high here with the people, if there is a disease and there is sickness, do you not find joy in sound of music and the rush of dance and the pleasures of the flesh?
I prefer the silence of nature, but I can understand to an extent. I'm just more curious why do they do what you do, or is it just for fun?
There is a difference. I have not met many of my training. I have studied techniques from various places across the land, but so only some are able to adjust their performance to weave the arcane, the force of nature around us into their performance, whether it be a dance or a song or a speech. What these people do, it is soothing in the way that the song I played tonight is, but it is not the same. It heals the soul, but it does not heal the body.
Okay.
There's place for both of us in this world. I would like to spout some lore.
Sure.
Maybe if I've heard a little bit about the Angorkana back in Koldak.
Sure.
Okay. Because I imagine if I've heard of Golbahar.
Yep.
Great. That at the very least, like, if people consider Golbahar to be one of the best, then the second best surely has also come along a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna.
And I'm gonna flavor that as also like trying to use like what I've heard in the past with what I'm hearing from people saying in the streets.
Okay. So because you rolled so well, you like, I guess you were doing, I imagine you might have been doing your homework a little, especially after Asmara and being like, yeah. So you know that the Angurkana is relatively new, like just a couple of years old. And you don't know too much of the details, although you might find out a lot more now that you're here. But it is actually run by Hevan Sahib. And Hevan Sahib was Begum Jan's ex-partner. It's almost like a sort of, you're not quite sure what had happened, but there was some big disagreement, or what is it, the polite word, artistic differences. And Hevan Sahib basically opened up something in the lower district, and you get the sense it was to basically bring such high art styles that only the wealthy could afford to the lower district, where those in the lower district could enjoy such art without having to spend too much money. And the one other piece of like gossip was when Hevan Sahib left and started the Angur Khana, also took Begum Jan's best dancer with him.
Okay. So with all that, I think I'm like piecing together a few things from people and like kind of eavesdropping as we're talking. And I think like we come to a stop in front of like one of the food vendors while we're like looking for our next move. And I turn to the party and say, I must confess, I have heard rumors and did not want to put them to speech without seeing for myself what the situation is here. But the gossip, for whatever it's worth, is that Young Gorkana is a recent far more recent establishment than perhaps I had imagined, and that our former hostess's once partner now operates it.
This is a lover's quarrel?
It's jealousy or envy. I forget which, but it's one of them.
Perhaps. It also seems as though there is a business conflict here in that one of the finer dancers from Gulbahar now serves the patrons of the Angorkana. I imagine that whatever tensions there are between these houses is perhaps economical as well as petty and personal.
Very much petty and personal.
They should offer a better product. Breaking people's legs is no way to go about drumming up better business for your dancing times. Very annoying. Correct.
And I imagine, I would hope that is not the way that business is done here in the lower areas. That being said, I would imagine there is something to a third party wishing to capitalize on a known drama by sowing discord between the two through impersonations.
Sure, but who?
That is what we must discover, my friend. A talent which I'm sure your skill at a blade is translates quite well to cutting through to the truth of the matter.
No, it mostly cuts people. Sorry.
What? Why can't everyone be like Sharmilla? Why is this so complex?
Thank you.
Petty. I don't understand.
Sharmilla beams because she just got praised by Karuna.
I regret to say, my companion, that life here in the urban spaces is not always so cut and dry as it is in the wild.
People are mean sometimes, and it sucks.
Yes. So, are we volunteering our services as an intermediary, or are we trying to help them draw up a interpersonal contract? I don't understand.
No, we're mostly just trying to figure out who broke that nice lady's legs, and getting some answers for that. They really should be brought to justice. Beyond that, well,
okay, that I can handle.
At present, my service is only to the wounded dancer, an innocent, as far as I can tell. Begum John may have coin and reputation and power, but none of those are worth anything as long as there is injustice being done.
Yeah.
And as you were talking about all of this, Yasmin, something catches your eye.
It's Kyron.
And what catches your eye is the performance that's currently going on in the Angurkana. And it's this rather interesting dance, and even after a while, Mother, it catches your attention. And it seems to be there's a dancer who is dancing and singing to some live music and a band, except the front half of her is off a woman sort of dressed up, full makeup, a dancer, a courtesan woman. But the song is about a duet between a man and a woman. However, it's only one performer. And when it comes to the man's part of the duet, the dancer turns around and there's a full costume, like the back half is completely in manly performer's clothes and is doing the movements backwards. And it's very interesting. And Yasmin, you have this little bang of, this person looks very familiar, but I'm not sure whether, could it be? I don't know. You're not quite sure. But the performance itself is enthralling.
I'm going to walk over.
Yeah.
Follow. The moment Yasmin is moving somewhere, I'm just like, yeah.
think I'm coming too, but mostly for the performance and not for the parenting urges.
To be clear, I'm not stopping
Yasmin safe.
Yeah, to be clear, I am not stopping Yasmin. It's just like just trailing after.
Yasmin is like following, just completely like beeline through the crowd, not paying attention to the other people in the crowd. Like, I'm guessing while she was talking with y'all, all of a sudden caught her eye, like, dug from up like squirrel, and started walking towards there.
Yeah, and the performance goes on for about another 5 or 10 minutes before it ends. And there is essentially a little lull and a break before the next performance of other dancers start up. And you see this dancer go behind stage. What you've entered essentially is somewhat of an open, where the food vendors are. There's no like windows or doors or whatever. You have like a clear view in, but it is still like a sort of a dinner theater sort of a thing, not necessarily the way you think of it, but just there's actually places to sit. There's a bar further in, and there is a stage, like a raised dais where people perform, and curtains that signal back of the stage.
Yeah, this is all like an outdoor venue, basically.
Yeah, and a semi-outdoor. It's basically one. If there's 4 walls, one is completely open to the streets, and the other 3 are kind of.
Okay, so it's a crude analogy, but it's almost like a garage then with the door open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except this is like a 2 or 3 story building, and the story above you see basically performers, and entertainers and courtesans just hanging out there and being like, "Hey, want a good time?" and that sort of a thing.
Like out through windows on the higher floors?
Yeah,
or?
like a balcony. Okay. Just the balconies.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there's basically a fire stairs sort of that go up from the outside. Yeah.
Does this look like a newly rectified building?
No, it seems like it's been here for a couple of years.
Okay.
But it does stand out quite a bit from the other buildings that are there. Like, this was not part of the architecture. This was added on. And has taken up a good chunk of land.
So we all followed Yasmin like little ducklings?
Yep, into basically where all the tables and the patrons are sitting, and you're just standing there gawking, or whatever you were doing.
I'm going to try to follow the familiar dancer.
And as you sort of head towards where the behind the stage curtains are, two hands from 2 different people just grab you. They're big, beefy hands. They're like, "Where do you think you're going?"
I think I know them. Can I go in?
Do you have an appointment? Did you make a booking?
No, but I could ask them if you'd let me in.
Everybody thinks they're a relative and they just want free passage. You know what?
But I might be. I'm looking for. Do you know Kairat? He's my cousin, and I've been looking everywhere. And guys, y'all, could you back me up that I've been looking everywhere?
Yeah, she's definitely been looking everywhere. Yasmin, do you have anything that your cousin might recognize? Perhaps, and I look at the person who has their hands on my friend, perhaps if we offered you something that they would recognize, we could clear this whole situation up and you could unhand my friend.
Well, they recognize me.
Yes, but we can't exactly take you back there. That's kind of the whole point of contention. But if you have something they would recognize, maybe and again, I look at them, if that would be agreeable.
And one of them looks to you, Sharmilla, and says, "Of course, we can certainly take a message."
Syad. They'd recognize Syad. I'm going to hold my hand in the air, and Syad's going to fly in from where he's been kind of above the city and land on my arm.
They just sort of jump just a little at the suddenness and say, "A bird." Okay.
He's a goshawk.
Yeah.
And I've been raising him since he was little. And Kyra was still in the village at that time, and he would know Syad, and Syad would know him. So they would know each other.
Okay, does it bite? And sort of very gently sticking a hand out.
Don't bite, Syad, don't bite.
Okay, and very gently sort of reaches out for Syad. And
he's gonna
the Syad
he's gonna very at my instruction perch on his arm. Talons are kind of sharp though, so because he's a hunting bird.
Yeah, you notice that both of these beefy bouncers have very calloused hands, like they're used to dealing with rough patrons. One of them, the one who took the Sayad, sort of winces just a little, like, I'm not used to this way.
Oh, be careful, be careful.
And with their hand outstretched like this, just continues walking inwards while the other one stays put to sort of watch all over you. And just, like, continues going in with, like, Sayad at arm's length.
Yeah, Yasmin's going to be very nervous while Sayad's out of her sight.
Awkwardly.
I'm sure it'll be fine, Yasmin. Like, your cousin will definitely, they'll recognize your friend. It'll be great.
Syad will take care of himself, but I'm really worried for him inside there with all those people without me. He could get really nervous and start flying around trying to get out because I'm just really nervous for him. I mean, he's very good at what he does, but
yeah. He knows how to find you. It'll be okay. And
I know, but if he tries to fly out without me and he runs into people and people might start hitting, and I don't want that. I'm really.
Murder, are you there?
Yeah, I'm like been looking up at the stage and like hearing all this stuff.
Nudge, nudge, panic face.
It's like popcorn.
It is. I understand what it's like to be separated from something that you love. But is not part of your bond, forgive me if I am intruding on your expertise, but is not part of the bond and the training that you have with Syad that there is trust, there is mutual trust between you?
Oh, I trust Syad. I don't trust the people in there.
But you have trained Syad to handle a great many dangerous situations.
Yeah.
I mean, from loud noises in the forest, the threat of creatures, the bustle of your village.
So here's the problem. Syad's a little bit flighty sometimes. It's just how he is. It's not. I know he's a bird, but he's
a stressed burb.
Sometimes, yeah, he gets overstressed. And in nature, it's not that bad because there's a lot of nature out there. Karuna, you know how it is. You just find a nice tree and you perch up there and you're fine. But in there's just so many people and they're not used to seeing goshawks and
at this point you hear the sound of like several like ooh, oh, such a cute bird.
Don't pet him.
Yeah. I put my hands on Yasmin's shoulders. It's like, okay, it's when I am worried, something that I like to do is breathe. So what we're going to do is you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, very slowly in and slowly out. Then I can relax, which is very important because sometimes I have to kill people. So trust me, it works really well. Okay?
Okay.
In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Okay.
And after a very awkward 5 or 10 minutes, The bouncer comes out with the bird outstretched, and you notice there's like all these lipstick marks all over Sayad's sort of like back.
Oh. It's okay, Sayad. Well, you can just go find a nice patch of dust, and you can it'll be fine.
Done.
It's you did a great job. Thank you so much. I'm going to take him back and toss him up in the air so he can fly off and find a nice patch of dust to bathe in and get it all out.
And Sayad disappears. And the bouncer says, "Well, I spoke to your dancer, and they said they didn't know anyone, and they didn't recognize this
He's a goshawk.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not very good at identifying birds, okay? I thought it was an owl. It was so quiet."
Well, he's very well trained. Owls, well, their wings are different. Their talons are kind of similar because they're both hunters. They actually have their heads are very small under their feathers, but they look like they have big heads.
Over.
Thank you for your assistance. We will bother you no further.
Yeah, they said they don't know any other furbolgs. And do not recognize the bird. Yeah, that was a weird thing to be said, but they said they didn't know you.
Sorry, Yasmin.
So you don't know Kyrat?
I don't know. I mean, that was Chameli, that dancer's name. Pretty name for a furbolg, but...
Hey, what the hell? Furbolgs can have plenty of wonderfully beautiful names, such as my friend Yasmin here.
Thank you.
Excuse you.
Huh, interesting. They both mean the same thing.
Friend, you are deeply troubling and confusing.
You know that Chameli is just another synonym for Jasmine, which Yasmin is also.
Ah.
Yeah.
Language is fascinating.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Ain't wrong.
Okay, I feel like the bouncer, and I am talking about the bouncer to my friends while he's still there, has no idea, or he's trying to cover something up. Who is this other furbolg? How do we get to them?
Oh, you recognize definitely the dancer was a furbolg, but didn't look like Kyrat. At least not in makeup.
Did they have gray fur, though?
Yeah.
I am not dropping this. If they're not Kyrat, maybe they know. Maybe they're disguising themselves to look like Kyrat.
How common are furbolgs in this region?
Good question.
Furbolgs are very common in the more remote areas and the places that are not urban centers. So it's not that it's absolutely rare and never seen before furbolgs, but they're just not as common in urban settlements, mainly because that's just not they don't like the cities as much.
Okay, bouncer, guy, person. You said that I would need an appointment to talk to that dancer.
Yes.
How do I get an appointment if you won't let me through to ask?
Well, you don't do it with the dancers unless the dancers make their own appointments. You go over there, and points towards the bar where there is barkeeps, where there's like one or two barkeeps who are serving customers, and you go speak to them, and you put down your requests, and then they will let you know if you have an appointment. Do you not know how these work?
We really don't. Thank you, friend. Let's go talk to the... We're probably done here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And they just sort of, their eyes just follow you until you go to the barkeep and then sort of move away to deal with anything else. So as you make your way to the bar, it's kind of busy as in between performances, people are ordering meals and food, and you see there is one person who is specifically sitting with a book and is like writing things down in a hurry. What do y'all do?
Before I forget, were the guards wearing uniforms that match the description of the dancer that was attacked?
Yes, it is definitely in the colors that Nurgis had described.
Okay. But I assume everyone else that works security here is wearing the same thing.
Yeah, they're everyone besides the performers and one very wealthy man sitting in what looks to be, I guess, like, a chef's table or like the patron table. All are wearing the exact same uniform, including the barkeep and the person sitting with the book. Basically, Ooh, thank you, Scraticus, for raiding our party. We are in the middle of politics and plagues, where we are figuring out how to schedule appointments. So they're all wearing the same uniform. Beyond the performers, and clearly this very wealthy person who gives the air off of basically owning this place.
Okay. So if the dancer was in fact attacked by somebody from Ungarkana, it could have been anybody.
Yes.
Or anyone that had access to one of the uniforms. Great. Cool. Okay, let's move on.
Oh my goodness.
So there's a bit of a queue, but do you wait in queue or do you just sort of push your way forward?
I'm gonna push my way forward.
You hear a couple of like, "Hey, I was waiting here. The line's back there, okay?"
No, it's fine. I'll be just a second. Hey, I had a question.
And you see this person who's scribbling down.
Community grows.
And sort of looks up and is like, "The line's back there, but yes, what can I do for you?"
I need to talk to that furball who was dancing a bit ago. I don't want to have sex with them or anything, because I think they might be my cousin or know my cousin, and that would, I'm not into that, but it would be weird.
You just need
anyway.
to talk to the furball.
Is that what people do here?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But not all the time.
And
not the sole focus of it.
This makes so much sense.
And the bookkeeper's lips burst and says, "So does all of these people," and points to like the 5-strong queue.
Yeah, but I think that they might be or know my cousin. Probably know them because they didn't know Syad.
I reach into my pocket, pull out a whatever coin we've earned from like the last night. I just grab a fistful of it and slap it down on the counter. Will this buy us some time?
Okay, this will include the interruption fee and the breaking the line fee, and yeah, you can have 5 minutes in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And writes something down, tears it off, and hands it to you.
I'm gonna repay.
Well, that's how they know, and points to the bouncers behind the stage and near where basically there's a bit of a stairwell as well.
Are they the same bouncers?
They're the same bouncers.
I'm gonna wave.
And they just sort of like nod. Okay, and at this point there's like 5 grumbling people behind you.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna turn to them and thank them, and then start walking away.
And continues, and the person in front starts like swearing loudly, and you make your way back to the bouncers, and the bouncers look at you and they say, "What do you have there?"
We have a ticket.
And sort of looks at it and says, okay, well, I can, so, go up the stairs, go left, then right, and it'll be the first room on your left. Just wait there.
Left, right, left. Okay.
They'll be over shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you all, as you go up the stairs, you see lots, like, it's slightly wide to enough two people abreast to go up and down. And you see lots of people going up and down and laughing, talking. And you see there's like a hallway of nothing but rooms. And each of these rooms also look out onto the street.
Quick question about security in this place. Are they okay with the fact that I've just got a big old sword sitting on my hip? Are they cool with that?
You notice some of the patrons also have like their weapons on them.
Oh, yeah.
But you notice there's like a bouncer on almost every floor that is watching that was watching sort of everybody, seeing who's got what weapons and stuff like that. And they sort of give you the once-over and don't really say anything.
Okay, good. Wanted to make sure that it wasn't like I need to check my weapons anywhere, because Moonsun comes with.
For the record, what are we carrying for armaments?
I mean, I've got Moonsong, which is my big badass Talwar, and most of the time I've got that big gleaming shield that you mentioned, like slung across my back. I mean, it's just not huge. It's probably like relatively small. It's just a little personal shield, but like
a buckler.
Like a little bit bigger than a buckler, but like smaller than like a kite shield.
Yeah.
So just big, shiny, round, mirrored shield that I've got kind of slung over my shoulder. Just that and my sword. That's all I need. That and gumption.
Got that in spades. I have a bow and a short sword.
I have a bow and a spear.
Yeah, and Karuna?
I only took a bow.
Yeah, so they eye all of it, and nothing seems to really alarm them too much, although they do really eye your shield, Sharmila, and your weapon, and it's not so much a look of like, oh no, like we're concerned about you using them or anything. It's more of a, wow, that's fancy for here sort of a look. And like almost like appraising. Yeah, a very appraising sort of nod and once over. So as you make your way to this room is fairly, it looks more like a sort of a a room, not a waiting room, but sort of a place like there's no beds over here. In fact, there's more like day beds and sort of like cushions and pillows, as if you're all gonna sit down and have tea and drinks, sort of a place. And there's a few instruments that are just there where you think the courtesan would be sitting, that are placed over there, and there is a small plate of like dried fruits and nuts, and a pitcher of some water. And what looks to be juice, you think. It's not juice.
Are any of the instruments stringed?
Yeah, they're ready to play.
I fiddle. I fiddle with one of them. No idea how to play it, but just plunk at it. While we wait.
And, yeah. Is there anything anybody wanted to do while they were waiting?
I think Madur is gonna help himself to some snacks, but also like hears the plucking of strings from behind and sees Sharmila. You've taken up an interest in the oud. I see.
It's pretty. Makes a nice noise. I have no idea how to play it. Certainly not like you.
No, not at all. You were close. You have the principle. You hold it the way that you would, and like starts like demonstrating like this is how you hold it, and like trying to help Sharmila pluck out like a basic melody.
Oh yeah, she's totally into it at that point. It's just like, oh, it's fascinating how this works and how you work, and just I don't know that I could ever get to your level of skill. This is fun. I see why you do it.
Like all things, it requires practice.
And you hear footsteps coming towards your door, and the door opens, and you see a well-painted gray fur bull come in and sort of like not even looking quite yet, and says, "Hello, welcome to the Angur Khana." And immediately walks out and closes the door.
Do I recognize the
Yes,
furball
that
close?
is very much Kara.
Okay, I'm gonna go, Kara, and go and start knocking on the door.
I'll just open the door. We're on the inside of the room.
Yeah, it wasn't locked. They just basically saw you, and when you yelled Kara, just left.
Big old nope.
Yeah. And is running away.
I'm gonna follow.
I give chase.
Hey!
All right.
I say, we only want to talk. Running after.
And you catch up pretty quick, and Kara sort of reaches a dead end and realizes, oh crap, wrong left, and turns around and says, why are you here? What do you want?
I thought you'd be happy to see me. It's been years.
Did Cha-Cha-Jan set you up to this? And you know, this is sort of the affectionate term you would give to their father.
Well, sort of. So you know how I was apprenticed to him?
Yes, is he here? And starts looking around nervously.
No, he's not about that. I am now the guide of So a couple months ago, we were in the mountains and he took a really bad fall. And he's hanging on, but it's not looking good. And I don't know all of what happened between you two, but the family thought that maybe you should come say goodbye, or at least come have closure. It's not looking good. We don't think he's gonna live out the year.
And Kara looks at you skeptically, takes your hand and places it on their head and says, swear on my life you're not lying. Actually,
swear.
Not me. You know what? Swear on Syed's life you're not lying.
I swear on Syed's life I'm not lying.
Because if this is one more attempt by them to give up what I want to do and do what he wants, I'm not falling for it.
Even if that was the case, I have his position now. And I wouldn't take you on as an apprentice. I know you don't want that.
Good. Well, at least you're not the disappointment in the family.
Well, you're not... I never thought you were a disappointment.
Well, when I first told them I wasn't who I did not want to take up the mantle of their son and do their job. They basically told me I could be whoever I wanted to be as long as I wasn't a courtesan. Or, sorry, that wasn't what they said. as long as I wasn't an artist. And they wouldn't accept me for who I am, and they wouldn't accept me for my profession. They basically said I was good as dead to them, so I'm dead to them, so I can't mourn over people who are dead.
If you'd seen your father in the last few months, I think maybe knowing that he doesn't have much time left, I think that's made him change a few things. I can't speak for the rest of the family, but he wanted you to come back, and he wanted to put things right. I understand if you don't want to come back, but if you do come back, I'll be right there beside you to guide you back to the family and back here afterwards.
Maybe. I don't know. Now it's just a really bad time, okay?
Okay.
Ragini got ambushed the other day and her legs are broken, and I had to train what I could so that I could take her place while she recovers.
Wait, you've had a dancer that's been attacked?
Yeah. I mean, the Gulbahar can't stand Asfandiar leaving them, so broke their legs.
My eyes turn into dish plates and I just look at Madur.
Do you mean to say that one of your performers has defected?
No. Asfandiar was the gem of Gulbahar, and when Asfandiar came with Sahib, Begum Jan was livid, and I mean, it's odd to wait for a couple of years before breaking their legs, but you know, I don't understand highfalutin people. I just want to perform.
Is there any way we could talk to this dancer?
I mean, I suppose they're not going anywhere, but like they're mostly resting, and
we're not looking to hex them to perform or have any sex with us. We just need to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just
okay, just come with me. I'll see if they're awake. And
thank you.
Leads you through another flight of stairs up to what seems to be far less rooms. These seem to be where the best performers stay, and their quarters and everything. And says, just one moment, wait. And knocks on the door and very quietly says, Asfandiar, are you awake? And opens the door a nudge, and then walks in, closes the door behind them, and you hear muted conversation. And after about 5 minutes, comes back out and says, Asfandiar is not feeling great, but probably could answer a few questions. They're very conscious of how they look, so just don't try to mention anything.
We would not dream of it. We are here to learn, not to judge.
And opens the door, and this room is it's very fancy. It's very much a entertaining room as well as personal quarters. And there is a very nice ornate chest of drawers with a golden gilded mirror. There is pots of paint and makeup and supplies. There is a double bed on which in the middle a very handsome dancer is currently resting. However, their face is completely black and blue, and similar to Nergis, legs are just like, it seems like they're barely able to move. And they look up at you weakly and say, hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm not in an entertaining mood otherwise. Uh, um, Chameli, can you get some refreshments for our guests? And Chameli nods and quickly leaves. And will return in a couple of minutes with like a tray of tea and sort of dried nuts and fruits, the very general entertaining thing. What do you do at this point?
Does the pattern of the attack look to be the same kind of thing that happens to Nurkus?
It looks fairly similar, but perhaps if you discern realities, you might be able to ascertain some other things.
Sure. Whoa.
So that gets you 3 questions. Holy God.
Wow. Yeah.
A hot 14.
I don't think I've ever rolled a 14.
Wow, you're on a roll.
Yeah. What happened here recently
Okay.
with relation to their wounds?
It looks like someone cleanly snapped their legs, like basically took some sort of blunt object and kept bashing it until it broke. And also beat their moneymaker. And it was done, as part of that, it was done deliberately to hurt their ability to sort of have a profession. It wasn't any sort of passion or anything. It was clearly done with intention.
Like the person who did it, right, knew where to strike to be the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, how do I ask what I want to ask? What here is not what it appears to be?
I will hang on to that question for the time being.
Yep. And it's hard to flavor some of these questions for the
I will give you, because you rolled so high, just a general question, and I'll say whether that's something that can be answered or not.
Sure.
Do you want a general question? Here's a good one. Who did this to you? Because honestly, that is what I would say to this person. Like,
that's where the third question, the question I said to hold on to, will make more sense. So, as you ask, why am I signed out? Okay, so I'm gonna do something right quick.
Just a moment, folks, while things happen.
Yes, there are certain accounts. Yeah, certain accounts happening. So when you ask who did this to you, they smile weakly and say, "I don't know, but I was on my way to pay a visit to an old friend in the not in the upper district. Yeah, in the upper district, when someone came from behind me and put a bag on my head and proceeded to do this and sort of vaguely gestures. And all I could see was the sleeves, and it looked like the guards at the Gulbahar. I think I can't believe Begum Jan would ever do this to me, and I don't think Begum Jan would, but...
Man, Madur, you had this in one.
Ugh.
Just
swish.
But I feel... I can't believe my own eyes, and the one thing I did notice, though, because, you see, I have a bit of a... Let's just say as part of my job while I was at the Gulbahar, I had to deal with many officials coming from many communities. So I have a bit of an ear for languages. And I think they thought I was unconscious but I heard them speak in some language that I don't quite know, and their Bahari had a bit of a foreign accent. I don't know if that will help.
It's something. It's worth
What
we had
you have been
before.
able to recall, yes, is useful. Anything that you can provide us with.
I know Hevan Sahib is very upset, and I, if I can be honest, what's happened between Begum Jan and Hevan Sahib, it's all my fault. If I didn't make such a big mess of everything, this wouldn't have happened, and sort of gestures like at the walls and everything. But I can't.
How do you, when you say mess, how do you mean?
Well, Begum, let's just say that Begum Jan and Hevan Sahib had what is known as a very open partnership. So they were allowed to indulge with whoever they pleased as long as it wasn't made public.
Mm-hmm.
And I was Begum Jan's.
You were having sex.
Well, it was more than that.
We had a relationship then. How is that a problem?
Well, so was I with Hevan Sahib, except both of them didn't know that, and they didn't want to know that, and that wasn't a problem until someone caught me and Hevan Sahib near the royal docks late night, and Begum Jan was humiliated. And that's when this began, and she made sure that Hevan Sahib was exiled out of the upper district, and to keep him company, I left.
Well, whatever the repercussions of all of this was, it's no cause to do that to a person.
Certainly not.
That's the thing. I know Begum Jan very well, and she can be vindictive. She can destroy someone's reputation, but violence is not her thing. But if it turns out someone at the Gulbahar did this, well, I guess I didn't know her as well as I thought. But Hevan Sahib is livid and is planning on doing something. I don't know what, but there might be some retaliation if this isn't figured out soon. And I'm concerned this retaliation will result in both of their destructions. The prince usually has a leave it alone policy, but if someone forces their hand politically, they'll have no choice but to shut both of us down.
And with the two largest, if not greatest, entertainment houses in Firdaus closed, I imagine there would be, well, an emptiness in the people's hearts. I wonder who stands to benefit from that.
I'm not sure. Maybe that's something you might be able to find out.
We certainly hope to. It is clear that between there is a sickness here, one of the spirit and one of the body, one that we as humble interlopers would like to do our best to see righted.
And at this point, the door opens and you see that very sort of patron, like the person who looked like he owned the place, walk in and says, "What is the meaning of this? Who are all of you?"
Hey, patrons, we have a ticket.
And sort of just literally goes up right into your face, Karuna, and says, "Where is the ticket?"
That they have it.
Oh yeah, who has it? Do I have it?
Yeah,
You do.
I don't think you gave it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it
and looks at it and
Hold it
says,
out.
"This is for Chameli, not for Asfandiar. You shouldn't even be up here. Why? Security!" And at this point, Chameli rushes in. Chameli / Karath rushes in and is like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. They said something about the Gulbahar." And
We're just trying to heal the legs and make miracles happen.
We are traveling apothecaries. We were requested as part of our duties, or a part of our visit with the lovely Chameli. It happened to come in conversation that we have skill of the healing arts and had heard there was an injured among you, and we were simply taking our time to assess the prospective patient before administering treatment. I would like to defy danger with charisma.
yes, please do.
Yes.
All right, let's see if this hot streak keeps up. Input value, not strength. Oh,
Amazing.
Well,
Yeah, wow. Someone has the lucky feat.
that's about it, though. Rule of threes.
Yep. And they sort of look over Chameli, look over Asfandiar, look at all of you, look at all of them again, and Asfandiar very weakly nods and says, yes, dear, that's what they were. That's what these lovely people were here to. Chameli was just really eager in seeing if anything could be done, and just wanted to just maybe didn't quite follow the etiquette of maybe asking you first. But it's okay, dear.
we just wanted to help.
Yes, you may forgive us as outsiders. Where we come from, sometimes it is better to treat potential wounds as quickly as possible, lest they do not fester.
And
I hope you understand our professional concern.
Hevan Sahib sort of looks at all of you, about to say something, and thinks better of it and says, "All right, well, if you can do something, please do something that my healers have not done already."
Worry not. Madura is capable of miracles.
And basically allows you to
No pressure.
do some healing if that is what you're doing.
Mador's thick elephant neck, like, would gulp
Oh.
discernibly if it were noticeable. Yes, well, my good friends, Karuna and Yasmin, if you would come and apply the herbal poultices
Yes.
to the infected areas,
Okay.
and I shall. Yes.
We've
and
got
Magic.
Don't worry.
It's okay if they see performance. I can
Yeah.
yeah. Be like, yes, one of the more unconventional techniques that I have learned in my years is to weave the force around us into the natural healing properties of poultices and salves, and plays a different melody on the flute. It's sort of a lower tune, and what Madura is trying to do before I roll the dice is to like pull the earth out of the whatever like herbs, if Karuna and Yasmin are actually doing something like that, like, we've got some healing herbs, like trying to suffuse that into the skin and like amplify any natural healing abilities that those plants might already have. So let's see what arcane art does.
All right. Holy. Yeah, so
You're on a roll.
You are on a roll, mother.
The second Medora had said poultices and herbs, I was like, I actually have those. And I started like taking out lavender and some sort of menthol herb, and I was like, poultice. Yeah.
Yes, I am prepared for this contingency. Yeah.
Yasmin will just help apply it.
Gently.
Okay.
I've just been resting a hand on my sword in case this all goes awry.
And you notice Kieran
It's
is
a
sort of
healing sword.
Kieran, who has been background all this time, is sort of like just creeping behind Havan with this look of, I could totally take care of this sort of a look. and yeah, you basically perform another mini miracle tonight as you help accelerate that healing. Of course, it'll still take time, but the recovery, rather than the recovery of not complete, like basically your career's over, you might be able to walk and do whatever, but your career's over. It's now your career might happen. You might need to heal a lot more, but you still might be able to perform after all of this. And you hear sort of great cracking as like literally bone is healing. But yeah, it's gonna take time as it heals. And you notice at this point Havan Sahib's jaw is like down and just like gaping this entire time.
Just lean in. See?
And their jaw sort of goes back up and they say, Mother, my dear boy, would you be interested in perhaps joining us? We could certainly use someone of your caliber and also with ability to do such wonders. I mean, we could have another service available here. Think of all the coin you could make.
Most honorable Heaven said, I am deeply flattered, I must say, to receive an offer such as that from one of such great reputation and magnanimousness as yourself. You will forgive me if I am overwhelmed by the generosity of your order. And so, being but a humble performer and apothecary as I am, I must take time to mull over your offer, that I might see how I could best provide my talents along with my companions, how we might best benefit your organization. I would, of course,
Is Bigum John
appreciate
offering you
time.
more? Because I can double that. Whatever Bigum John's offering you, I will double that.
I would not wish to step in between a business decision such as this. I understand that the circumstances are quite volatile, and so it is for me. It is not you. My mind focuses on truly the nature of performance. I have no head for numbers, and so I must consult with those wiser.
Free lodging and
Do
food.
you really think you can place a monetary value on something so sacred as this performance? This miracle amongst miracles?
And sort of just looks at you. Okay, so what you're asking is quadruple, right? Look,
My friend
it's
needs
free
time to
board
think.
and lodging, and you can make your own appointment book.
My friend needs time to think. Thank you.
Oh, yes, of course. But just remember, I can do whatever Begum John does better. And
As I have heard.
and sort of goes up to Asfandiar, kisses them on the forehead and says, just let me know if you need anything, dear, and just leaves. And gives this sort of you were lucky kid at Chameli as they're leaving. And Chameli sort of looks at all of you and has this like, holy cow.
Indeed.
I'm as surprised as you are.
Wait, you didn't know if this was gonna work?
I am confident in my abilities, though I must say that the jury is fickle at times.
Mador has not failed us before. He's not about to start again. But we should probably adjourn to discuss things. I'm very tired.
Yes, it is quite early in the morning, is it not?
It is.
And you must take some time, please, to allow your wounds to heal. I imagine it has been quite draining to speak of the terrors that you had to undergo, and so we will leave you to your faculties, and should we learn anything about the people that did this to you, we will be sure to return.
Certainly. Just let the two bouncers whose names I need to make over the break, let them know that Asfandiar has given you full access to visit at any time.
I am sure they will be more than overjoyed to see us again.
Yes, they grow on you. And
they took really good care of Syed, so they seem nice.
Who's Syed?
Don't worry about
my
it.
My goshawk friend.
It's a bird.
It's a bird.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could have seen the goshawk. It's been a while since I've seen such wonderful birds of prey.
Oh, if you come outside, you can see him.
Is there a window in this room? Is there a window in this room?
Looks at there actually is. There's a balcony, like literally this is a nice suite.
I can step outside and call him.
And after a while Syed comes. Oh, what a magnificent bird you are. Yes, you are. Who's the prettiest bird? Oh, and so sort of just weakly from the bed, just showering compliments.
I'm telling Syed, yeah, play it up.
And Syed's just hamming it up.
Very good bird. He is the best bird. He's so good at what he does. He is an excellent tracker and hunter.
And he sort of and Asfandiar smiles and says, "I see the ladies have had a turn with Syed, as some of the lipstick stains are still there, visible."
Yeah, he didn't get it all off. It's okay. It'll come out next time it rains, I'm sure.
Oh.
All right. So I will say that you all eventually leave if you want to have a word with the bouncers down as you go. It has had. And they sort of just nod. And you all make your way, I imagine, back to your camp. And it is here where we will take a short break just to, use the facilities, stretch the legs, and I'm just adjusting a couple of things while that is happening. And And a big shout out to Roll20 as our season sponsor. So yeah, we will now take a break and be right back in about Danish.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
unfortunately, we've had to. Lauren wasn't feeling well, so she is taking some time to recoup. And thank you for whatever time you could give us in play. And your health, everyone's health here is more important than a game. This is a game.
Get well soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about your neck.
Yeah. But coming back to our game, and you all are heading to bed. This is considered a rest, so does anybody have enough experience to level up? You would, at your current level, I believe, need 10 experience.
10?
Yeah. Nope.
I'm at 8. No, not 8. 6.
I think I get. You get alignment XP at the end of the session, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm still sitting at 9.
As am I.
I got to start failing some dice rolls.
Okay, so you all go to rest as usual, and you wake up in the morning noticing 2 things. Yasmin has left a note saying Sayad was feeling very stressed after last night, so I'm gonna go do some hunting. I'll be right back as soon as I can, which is the equivalent of whenever the player's back. You also see a note, Mother, with basically what looks to be sorting out like little bundles of goods with names on them. And hopefully this works, as I'm gonna try something super cool. And there's a note that reads as such.
My friends, I'm so sorry to leave you.
Wait, why did he only play 2 seconds?
That was so cool for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was the exact play. There's more to the note, but for whatever reason, it's not going to play the whole thing. This is the same problem I had. Okay, I will try it once more, and then I will just read the note out. No, it's not doing the thing. It's just not.
Yeah. Yes, it's playing.
Oh, it's playing? Okay, but it's not playing. It is playing, but not playing on my computer, so I will read the note out, which my players can ignore, but for the purposes of the audience. My friends, I'm sorry to leave you. I have made contact with a group who is in need of my special expertise, and I feel that I can do more with them. Traveling with you all has been a joy, and I will miss the fun and drama we created together. Karuna, you are a light to all who know you. You bring wisdom and thought to all you do. Yasmin, your joy for life is infectious. Never forget the importance of your light in dark situations. Madhur, your intelligence and passion is beyond anything I have seen before. Don't let anyone tell you that what you are is not enough. Sharmila, my oldest friend, it was wonderful to travel with you. Your skill at protecting others is without question. Please keep them safe. I will miss you, my friends. Know that I am available when you need me. All my best, Kieran. And there is little bundles. There's little bundles for each of you, if you choose to open them.
Immediately.
All right, sure.
Yeah, I do.
You find nice undergarments, the best of the stock, in your size and favorite color.
Yes. I got paid, y'all. He's always a man of his word. I gotta try these on.
I would slowly pick up whatever parcel is listed for me and kind of hold it in my hand, but pocket it without opening it.
Okay. Mother D.
I would pick it up, read the note, and then take a deep breath and then open the package.
You took a deep breath.
Oh.
Just kidding. They are in the perfume bottles, but you know to not take too deep a breath. They're definitely not one of her fragrance oils. You get 3 uses of golden root poison.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Which is applied. The
Kieran,
target,
you sly dog.
the target treats the next creature they see as a trusted ally until proved otherwise when applied.
All right.
You also, each of you, whoever opened your packs, you also find 3 coin in it.
Neat.
And Mother, you especially get the super. You notice you have a really nice. Your coin is in a very nice bag. That looks suspiciously a lot like what Begum John's clothing looked like. Like matched Begum John's clothing the previous night.
Like putting 2 and 2 together, like. Of course.
Oh, snaps.
A consummate professional.
I returned from wherever I went. Man, this thing fits great. I'm gonna miss him. Comfy though.
It'll be all right. They had to do what they had to do.
Kieran has always been a free spirit, I must say. And though I am sad that our journey here ends, I know that sooner than later, our paths will cross once more.
I just hope he doesn't steal from anybody too powerful and get, dead. Oof. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sure it'll be fine.
And as you reminisce, the day begins. The smells and sights of the day market opens, as well as the food vendors for breakfast and the day's meals. What do you all do?
So here's the thing. So, well, let's combine our notes here for a second.
Yes, let us compile.
So, we have got 2 houses, both alike in... No, wait, different thing. We've got these 2 guilds, I guess, for lack of a better word. My brain is blanking on courtesans halls. There we go. We've got these 2 courtesan halls. Somebody from outside the city entirely, almost certainly, because they mentioned Osfundir mentioned a foreign voice. They didn't catch what they said, but they knew that they were speaking a foreign language. Whoever that is agitating by going through and running false flag operations to fuck up the starred performers of the 2 houses. So halls rather. So the question becomes, who's new in town? We probably need to figure out who that is and work from there, would be my guess. That's what I got. What do y'all got?
I believe your assessment is very strong, and I also wonder what connection, if any, it has to the sickness that is spreading in the city. Perhaps we would be suited well to uncovering a bit more about the disease, if not visiting the healers' camps.
Yeah, I like this plan too.
It's curious to see the downtrodden, so weary, so pale, and just see that the biggest thing these people up here have to deal with are their warring factions of dancers and singers. It's a bit disheartening for me. I don't know if those 2 are interrelated, but I would like to close the door on these problems.
You are a kind soul, Karuna.
Will it set your mind at ease if we begin our day with investigation into the land itself? I've been thinking about the right with which you shared me, and I have considered attempting to summon a spirit of the water to see if it will speak with us.
I think, yes, our time is close, but I'm not yet ready to allow us to bring that spirit forward. I know we passed the healers and the quarantines, and I think I still need to learn more about the more human urban interactions and see what they have to say for themselves first.
Terrestrial solutions before ethereal problems.
Yes, something like that.
Is there any particular place you would like to go?
I am trying to remember. So, like, when we left our camp and went all the way around the river bend, on our way to the chicken place, or just after the creepy chicken place, is where there.
It was before.
I think it's before, yeah.
Just before.
I will point it out where it is. Basically,
By the floating shantytown?
Yeah, this entire area has been quarantined off. It's actually very close to the entertainment district. So once you clear that, this is where I'll actually maybe do a little drawing. So there's basically a fence all around here where basically the town is. And it seems to be that most of the floating shantytown that's there has overnight been emptied. The boats are there, but the people on them have all been emptied.
Like they abandoned it?
Yeah, it looks...
Or were forced off them?
Yeah, it looks like nobody got to take anything. They were just sort of all just hurried off of it. And, let me find a nice bright color. The tents are somewhere around here. And so is what looks to be like the one-way in is also somewhere here.
Okay. We're camped like down here somewhere, right?
Yeah, you are camped somewhere around here.
Okay. That's
and,
not far.
The Angur Khana, I will draw a big A. Let me find another color that is white. So the Angur Khana is basically there.
Oh. Yeah, we're not. Oh, okay.
Okay.
And the Gold Bahar were on the other side.
Yeah, the Gold Bahar,
across the river.
The Gold Bahar is over here.
Cool.
Sweet.
And you notice that this place over here is basically just a well-watched, essentially, path up the mountain into the gated area that is here, the true upper district.
Right.
And this is the
They
royal...
get a different water supply.
Yeah, and this is the gated royal docks to basically, if they need to travel out of town through boat.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Do
with
we
that,
know if we could even remotely get admittance to the upper city?
I will say that you've, and with Yasmin maybe mentioning it at some point, and you would also know this, Mother, being this is not your first time here, that to gain admittance into the upper district, you have to have a copper seal of some kind. Basically, you're invited to be a guest of someone, or you're dealing in luxury goods of some kind that appeals to the folk there, or you're under the summons of the prince, or you are of some importance that you need to be there.
So we need like a license or an invitation. Yeah.
Yeah. And you are not well traded enough yet you might have been working on getting a copper seal, but you have not gotten one yet.
Yep. Cool.
But you have certain allies who may or may not help you in that aspect. And, yeah. Where would, I believe you were figuring out where you would like to go? Or who you'd like to...
Yeah, I thought we were going to go to the quarantine.
Oh, yeah, the quarantine. Yes. So you make your way past the entertainment district during the daytime is basically dead. Like, everything's shuttered. People are sleeping. There's really not much of an activity beyond just some of the food vendors and boats near the docks. So you pass through, and you see that the healer's tent, just from outside, is a hive of activity. And there is like about 3 or 4 people patrolling this like red fence. It's not actually red, I'm just saying compared to the map. This red line, which is the hastily erected fence, 10-foot fence that has been put up around the chawl, or like the slums, the district. And as you approach, you see Karuna symbols for Kinar, which you know is the water temple over here. Like, it's the organization of healers that believe in the river Kinar, which is the name of the river here, and believe her as a manifestation of the water's will here. The mother who gives you all the life force and nourishes you and heals you.
Okay, so the quarantine place is branded with this temple, so...
Not the fence, just the healer tents.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Which are outside the wall, then.
Which are outside the walls and just in front of the gate. That is like the only one way in, one way out.
Got it.
Yeah. And you notice there's a line of people being basically thrown in there. They seem to be sick, not looking good, and they're just hastily... you notice that the guards are wearing masks and some sort of like protective clothing, and the healer, there's like 1 or 2 healers around just quickly looking them, sort of nodding their head, putting like some sort of a blue mark on their, very visible on their cheek or their forehead, so that it's like a visible, they've got something, and just they're being
are they being pushed through?
Yeah, they're being pushed through. And from what you can see, this area is getting very full. Like, the chawl kind of absorbs things, but once it's been fenced in, you can now see that there's some cramming happening. You can't see too much past what's happening at the entrance and the line that's forming, but that's what your first impressions are as you enter. What do you do?
I turn to my friends and I say, they're quickly going to be overwhelmed with whatever this is. It seems they're beyond capacity, and I'm afraid that this plague will spread. I would like your help in talking to the healers that seem to have tents here.
Certainly. It is far busier here than I had anticipated. It is clear that the disease is worse than we thought.
Exactly, Mador.
If there's any size differences in the tents, I'll probably go to the biggest one.
Yeah, there's 2 tents. One seems to be definitely like the headquarters or like the central command sort of a thing, and there's a slightly smaller but equally big tent that seems to be maybe some sort of an overflow of some kind. And as you approach, this is definitely a little... There's magic involved. These tents are larger on the inside than the outside. But it seems like from the outside easily fit 30, but what you see in here easily fits more like 50 or 60.
Nice.
And you see there is 3 sort of areas that catch your eye. The first is a sort of a reception slash people with books who are noting down details and writing down like almost like clerical. And then on the other side, you see what looks to be there's a very light curtain, but whenever people come in and out of it, it looks like they're wearing essentially robes. You hear the sound of clinking of glass. You hear the sound of flame. You think this is probably some sort of a lab that has been set up. And then the bulk of the stent is nothing but similar to the Gulbahar, but for a very different purpose. Little dividers of like 1-person beds, and with a little space for maybe someone to sit down and examine who's in there. And you see, just from your very basic impressions, closer towards where the clerical area and the lab is, you see people who can still kind of sit up. There are people like sitting up but not getting out of bed. And towards the back, just people just lying still.
Okay. Do any of the patients look brain fart. Do any of the patients look gross like something physically outward manifest, or they just are very lethargic?
Like, are there obvious symptoms?
You, at the moment where you are, unless you go towards where the beds are, you can't really make out. You can make out state of energy, but that's just about it from where you are. And this place is so busy that at the moment no one's really paying any attention to you yet. The group of you, just because it's like a bunch of headless chickens walking around. Not literally, but just that sort of a frenetic energy.
Oh, darn. I thought it was literally chickens. Damn. I thought we had a good chicken theme going on, but no chickens this episode. Damn.
I think.
Well, you could always visit Murky later if you want.
Absolutely. Nope. Super. I'm good. Thanks.
Are we ever going to get that wrapper? Oh, my goodness. Anyways, I'm going to casually walk past the reception desk to kind of get that vibe of what you told us about. And I'm like, if they're not going to stop me, I'm just going to take a very confident, concerned approach towards the lab-ish area to see if I can grab the attention.
All right. Give me a defy danger. With confidence, I think I will go with charisma.
Yeah, because I have lots of that. Okay. There is...
It's a state of mind.
Danger, and then...
Rolling well so far.
Listen, that's all not me. Okay.
It'll be fine.
If my charisma is... It's a modifier 0, so it's just a flat roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think if you click on Defy Danger, it'll prompt you for a stat, and then you choose it and click OK.
Okay.
Yeah, you click on the word Defy Danger in your list of moves on your character sheet.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got that. I switched it to Charisma, but where's the trigger to make it go?
The OK button right below it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. It didn't.
Oh, what do you have to do?
There's an easy way around this. You know what? If you just roll 2d6 and then just add whatever your charisma stat is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure it out from there.
That's cool. Thank you.
We'll just do that.
I don't have a modifier, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
4.
Okay, so market experience.
Yes. I'm just not subtle at all. Great. Cool.
And as you sort of march in thinking, yes, I totally know what I'm doing here, you realize just a little too late that you're not wearing any of the robes. There's some sort of a uniform going on over here, and you were instantly stopped and said, "Who are you? And you're not supposed to be here. Are you a patient? You definitely should not be here." and then notices all of you, the mother and Sharmila, and say, "Are you all patients too? You don't look very sick."
No. No.
Sister!
We are not sick.
And you see 2 or 3 robed figures approaching at this point.
Begging your pardon. We are traveling investigators. We have heard that there is a plight here, and we regret that we did not follow the proper protocol. Where we are from, it is sometimes common for us to simply volunteer our services when we are concerned about the well-being of the common people. And so we, my companion Karuna here is tuned to the land and wishes to offer their services in defeating the blight that you are struggling with here.
What he said, that I just wanted to help.
And you see the 2 or 3 robed figures appearing, and one of them looks at you, Karuna, and says, "Karuna? What are you doing here? I thought you were going to be here, like, in a week's time."
I hitched a ride with some merchant folk and became a merchant folk myself. And I am here. Do I recognize this person?
Yep, it's the person who asked you for help.
Yes, I accelerated my process here because urgency was needed.
Yeah, whatever help you can give us, except you should have come and asked for me. And sort of looks over to the very cross lab person and says, they're with me, and I don't know them."
They're helpful.
I'm Sharmila.
Mador, the miracle worker.
We have not been properly introduced. Yes, I am Mador, and this is the legendary sword wielder Sharmila. You may have heard of Moonsong.
No.
That's my sword. It's quite sharp.
Okay.
We are here to offer
our services. Are you good at
services.
amputations?
It hasn't come up? Why?
Oh, we're just looking for extra hands. And you're a miracle worker, Mother. Tell me, how exactly does your miracles work? We could certainly use some right now.
Yes, I am but a humble performer. One trained in the arcane arts as well as the beauty of performance. I use my gifts to soothe the sick and help those in need. Miracle, I think,
doesn't even let you
perhaps
finish.
a stretch.
Doesn't even let you finish. Yes, morale. We could certainly use a morale boost over here. So we've been looking at the water, and unfortunately, we're not quite sure what's happening. It's really, what's going on is, you know what? Just come with me. And for 1 second, and sort of leaves you, comes back with like these oversized clothes, and says, "Put these on. You might need them." You know,
hazmat suits.
Kind of, but they're just like made of like canvas, like heavy canvas, and they look like oiled against weatherproofing like liquids and things like that, and gives you sort of head covering to sort of cover your face, and say, "We're not quite sure what's happening, and we need to figure out what's going on really soon, because let's just say..." Ooh.
They're back. No. They're back.
Okay, cool.
Welcome back.
Miss?
Just a little.
Just whatever, like the last 2 sentences.
Yeah, we need to figure out what's going on really soon. Because,
how long ago did it start?
Well, it's been about a week, not less than a week, we're not sure. First, people were getting sick, and we thought, oh yeah, maybe it's the water. So we tried to get some of our healers to, help with cleansing some of, from time to time when there's a lot of people, it gets hard to clean things quickly, and the mother needs a little help from her children, so we do what we can. But the water's not worse than its worst, and but it just seems to be so many people falling sick so quickly, and we're concerned it's not the water anymore, because just people are just turning up more and more sick, and it's only affecting the lower district. That's partially why we're all that is there. It's only our healing. The prince is right now busy.
Of course.
And the only thing the prince can do at the moment is put a couple of guards over there to make sure the quarantine doesn't break. There's a whole bunch of diplomats that are there. There's some deals going on. I mean, I don't know. The prince is busy. And they have some diplomatic thing that they're doing, and they don't want it coming up to the upper district, so we have to contain this. And that's all we've got. Guards and a fence.
Interesting.
And us.
Yes, you've been working so hard. So much overtime, I can see. Less than a week? Have you lost anyone?
Well, you know what? Why don't we walk and talk, do the rounds now that you're all dressed? Have you all dressed?
I mean, yes, like,
okay.
Yeah.
As best as possible.
Yeah, and sort of, she kind of, like, tucks you in a little better and be like, no, just put it in your boots, make sure you're not exposing yourself, and then takes you through the rounds, and now you actually see the ones who are sitting up, they're super lethargic, pallid, similar to what you had seen. However, they're starting to, they look feverish, like there's like sweat dripping down, even though it's not that hot. It is full. There are 60 people in a small space, but you're still in the mountains. It's still quite cool. It's a very pleasant temperature, but this one's like sweating like they're in the Registani desert. You've seen that. They're just sweating. And as you go further in, there's also coughing. Some people are coughing. And as you go further in, you now see these little blue spots appearing all over. Similar color to the markings that they were making, but this looks like it's not been done by... It's not ink. These look like actually spots.
If I look at the spots, how similar in color are they to the blue algae I saw earlier?
Give me discern realities.
Okay, this is mine. All right, we got.
Would you like some aid?
Yeah. If you are aiding, let's resolve that roll before, because that'll give you a +1 forward. So tell me, how are you aiding?
So I was listening pretty intently to the description of the algae, and I think Mador is like going in where he can, like, may I touch you, may I look at this, and like trying to consult his mental notes about, well, this looks familiar and this doesn't. And I think that since he and Karuna have worked together a little bit, part of that, like the right that Karuna taught Mador is like partially about observation and like seeing, the land for what it is, and so he's trying to tap into that understanding.
Roll your aid. So I believe
there it is.
That's a 5.
Yep.
Okay.
When I have
so
a
Mark...
1 bond with Karuna, so it's 6, which is still a failure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So mark off an experience. And while you are being helpful, you do not give anything that tells Karuna anything new. So Karuna, roll your discern realities.
Would that be like a wisdom?
I think
If you go into your moves.
Yeah, I think if you just
on the
click
main
the
sheet.
title. Yeah, if you click the title, it'll just roll that.
Click.
Aha.
Aha.
Yes, but.
Okay, so you take +1 forward when acting on the answers, and you may ask me one question from the list.
I guess it falls more under what happened here recently. Like, I'm just trying to verify, like, the algae and the spots are interrelated.
So what has happened here recently is there is definitely some sort of contact. Like, what's happening here is some sort of contact to something, but you're pretty sure it's not algae, but it is some sort of a contact thing that is happening, because if it's not the water, as your the Kinnar healer, your friend, has said, then it must be something else. And as you proceed further in, you see the ones at the back that are the worst. They're sort of it seems to be the elderly, and the young, or those who are immunocompromised. And you see that they're like covered in blue blotches all over. They're sweating. They're also shivering. They, like, every single symptom that you've seen, except a few of them are lying absolutely still. And as the Kinnar healer goes to them and sort of takes their pulse, sort of closes their eyes, covers the sheets, and says, well, now we have our first deaths. Our first casualties. This is not good. If this trend, what we're seeing here, keeps up this way, in another week, everyone here who's got it will be like them.
We cannot let that happen.
I want to try to cast a spell.
Okay.
So if we're concerned that there may be a connection to the algae, there may be something else at play, there may be not drinking the water. So I'm going to try and cast Detect Magic
Okay.
to see if there's, like, they've been enchanted somehow or something like that.
Yeah. Sure,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Madura, I think, pulls out his spell book, which is a thick, maybe a series of scrolls, actually, that are like kind of jumbled together. Pulls one open, reads the words, and like tries to pull the text that's on the scroll off of it and like weave it over his face, into his eyes to see like what is around. Okay. Cast, but I get to choose one. Unwelcome attention or put myself on a spot, disturb the fabric of reality. Haha. I think I just forget it.
Okay.
I think I just forget how to cast that until I rest again.
All right. So as you cast it, there's nothing immediately that is magical. However, as you examine it and focus on it, you notice where the blue spots are on every, like, you do a quick sweep of everyone, including those that have perished. And you notice that there's like the slight magical essence to the blue spots.
It seems as though the discoloration on the skin has some sort of magical tint to it.
Is it a curse then?
Either.
Could I try to discern realities based on that?
Yes, and I will give you a +1 forward because you are
Okay.
acting upon that.
Cool. So it's an 8.
That's an 8.
With the +1.
Yes, so you may ask me a question.
What here is not what it appears to be?
Okay. So, initially you go through your head about whether this is a curse or a magical thing, and you're pretty sure that it's not. It's definitely a disease because it goes through all the stuff that is there. But if someone were to look for magic, they might think it's a curse and start looking for magical ways, but it is a disease.
Mm.
And it's definitely not water-based, because if that was the case, then everyone here would be sick. You would have been sick because you're eating food grown from the lake and water.
So it's not.
It's another source.
It's something else. It's not in the water. It's the things that it causes, or the things that it cause have magical traces, but it's not a curse. Okay.
Yeah.
My friends, I confess I have never seen anything like this in all of my years.
Okay, that's deeply troubling.
I mean, someone dying within days of contact is also troubling. Okay. I turn over to the Knar healer and ask, is it so it's not an airborne disease based off the way you are quarantining these people?
No, we have no reason to believe it's... I mean, we're taking all our precautions, but it's...
You said this started a week ago.
Yeah.
What happened a week ago that's new to the city?
Well...
No, I mean, like, you Karuna, you left, but, like, visitors, or, the seismic events, or, I don't know, new things.
Well... I mean, our market season started a week ago. I mean, that's when everyone arrives. It's like the first of the month, or the first week of the month. We've also had some diplomats arriving.
AKA a very good time to be flying under the radar.
There's some politicking the prince is dealing with, you said.
Yes, but I mean, when diplomats arrive, there's always hospitality and diplomacy involved. I mean, that's always the thing. Sometimes my sisters in the upper district, and you know, when she says sisters, you mean like healers. My sisters in the upper district usually perform many hospitality rituals and cleansing rituals, and to make sure everything goes smoothly, which is why they haven't been able to join us.
Can you get us in if you have a connection to the upper districts?
I can certainly try.
Thank you.
I'm not sure. I can try, but
thank you.
If I can't get my sisters, and she just sort of wanders off, and just wanders off literally as thinking about it all.
And there she goes.
If it isn't something caused by the water, is it possible that there is something that the water is interacting with in their systems, or perhaps something all of these people have in common that causes them to...
They do have something in common. They all live in this part of the city.
That is true.
This contamination, for me, I wonder if it's an angry spirit of the land punishing those who have not given proper respect. That could happen sometimes, although this one is very extreme. Or someone from a different place has brought something that does not interact well with this land. That's what
Or this is intentionally somebody's trying to destabilize the area. We've already seen it with the fighting between the two courtesan halls. Now people are sick. Somebody brought this here.
I fear that you are correct.
And the sister wanders in and says, do you perhaps know, I could maybe arrange,
Yes.
You're a performer, right? And looks at Mother.
Yes.
He's an incredible performer, in fact.
Well, if you can convince the Gopahar to maybe take you on, or someone, perhaps. I'm sorry, I don't have much sway. It's really hard. I'm not even allowed to go
It's
up there.
fine, friend. And I clap my hand onto her shoulder. You have done great.
Oh, such strong hands.
I am quite fantastically strong, yes.
Oh dear. I'm less concerned about getting into the upper district and more concerned about, is there any sort of ritual or medicines that you've been able to stave off the acceleration? Or
Well, those who are quite young and fit who have got it seem to be delaying the onset of the symptoms. As you notice, the ones who weren't well, they were all those who were new to the world, yes. The newest to the world, or close to ending their time in the world.
Okay.
I've been wanting to go into the Jawl because I'm hoping I could find some sources over there, but the problem is the guards have gotten very clear instructions from the prince to not let anyone out. The people can go in, but they can't go out. So if I go in, I can't come out until we figure out what's going on.
So only the sick are in there currently, not a single.
No, and the
how are they getting food?
Unfortunately, they're having to subsist on whatever supplies are in there.
I stomp out of the wherever we are. I'm stomping out of there.
Is it it's not it's a fence but not like covered?
Yeah, it's just a 10-foot fence. And okay. It's just patrolled. Like, there's no barbs or anything on top of it. Anyone can climb it, but it's 10 feet, so and the guards are doing enough rotations that unless you were super sneaky or well-timed, they would see you.
Or studied the essence of one friendo birdo.
Yes.
And maybe shifted into friendo birdo.
Yes. That is certainly an option. But it seems to be the guards seem to be less concerned about who's going in, but who's coming out. You notice there's occasionally 2 or 3 people trying to climb out, and immediately the guards with their spears kind of push them back in. They don't, like, harm them, but they do shove them off. And Sharmilla, where do you storm off to?
As soon as I exit the big tent that we're in, and I just start shouting to find... I look for anybody who looks like a guard, who otherwise looks like they're part of this operation, and I start demanding to know who is in charge of all of this.
They look at you and say, "The prince, we are the royal guard. Who are you?"
I am not a fool, and neither are you. Who here is in charge? Who's below the prince? Who is your commanding officer?
And at this point, the person, there's one person sitting on a desk with, like, ledgers, gets up and says, "I am the general here. How can I help you, stranger?"
You don't need to help me. You need to help those people in there. What are they being fed? What food and provisions are you providing them?
It is not under our purview to do that.
Then secure them. What is wrong with you?
Give... I'm trying to think what sort of a check. I guess it would be some sort of like an intimidation or something, but do you have something you would like to use? I guess defy danger.
If you were asking me what I would ask a player to make on an intimidation check, I mean, that's covered by charisma.
Yeah, so defy danger charisma.
Sure, I'll do that. Boop, boop, ba-doo. Stat equals cha, submit. 8.
And, yeah. So, it seems like there was like a little bulb that suddenly dawned on the general, but doesn't quite like being told by literally random stranger.
Yeah, says, that's me.
Look here, we're doing all we can, and then quickly motions to 2 or 3 guards and quickly whispers something, and they run off towards the market area and says, if you're with one of the merchant caravans, then I suggest you go do your job and let us take care of our people.
And I lean in and say, yes, I suggest you actually take care of them. And I walk away. Nothing to say to this man. You feed those people.
And you see what looks to be after about maybe half an hour if you're still around.
I don't know, we're hanging like I stormed out, I said my piece. He made it clear he was going to find provisions for them.
Yeah.
And like after that I just wander back over to where I last saw my friends.
They are still in the tent unless you have moved on.
I think we've got most of what we need for information. It seems like we have a couple of good plans of attack.
Yeah, so as you are...
I think I, for one, am coming like out of the tent, maybe as Shermilla like comes rushing back in.
Guards here are asinine. They do not care for the people of the city.
I take it you had a less than pleasant interaction?
We've reached an understanding. Those people will be fed.
I should hope so. There's only so much that we can do for so many here. But I hope that whatever words you traded were as efficient as blows with those who can make the decisions.
They were not traded, they were given freely, and they will do with them as I see fit. What's our next move?
You see, this point, as you're all sort of wandering out of the tents and looking in, by this point, the line that was forming and basically being put into the fence has now finished, and then these big doors with a big sort of like a bar gets put over and closed. And there, you can see through it, so there is like a view, you can see through it, but it's basically kind of like it's to keep everyone in there in, and the guards are just standing in front just looking at what's going on.
How do the I think Karuna has a disconnect here in terms of who they're treating in the tent and how they get there versus being in the quarantine.
The Kinara healer says these were the first few people before the fence was put up. Everyone else currently is in there so that if we can figure out what's going on, then we can everyone's in one place and we can treat them all very quickly.
Has everyone shown symptoms? I assume from the floating town and...
Why, yes, you notice some sisters over there, they are using a special arcane mark to mark if they seem like they have a sign of the disease. We've been detecting some magic to see if they have the start of it. We've been good at figuring out whether people are infected or not, but we've not been good in figuring out how to not infect them anymore.
I would like
basically similar to what Mother basically did.
Mhm.
Right. I would like to commune with this land. Do you have a recommendation where I could do that, perhaps with the aiding of Mador?
I mean, in the middle of that chawl is probably the best place. In fact, I think if the guards would only let me get in and get out, I could figure out what's going on in there. Just, I feel like that's where it started, but as people come and go, like, it seems to be the more people are in touch with each other. I mean, just this morning, a few people from the entertainment district up and were put into the chawl.
Oh, no. Okay. One more question. Has anyone in the healing aspect been touched with this disease?
No, not yet.
I will find us a way to get into the chawl, and I will come back with information.
That would be very helpful if you can, but just be careful about the guards. I know they're mean well and that they're doing their job, and it's either...
They follow blindly.
Yes. And it's either that or the Prince's wrath.
No regard for the land, I see. We will get past them. Don't you worry.
And she sort of wishes you well, and we will end with these things to ponder and to figure out what to do next week here. But before we do, let's go over some of our end of game things. So, for any of the players individually, have any of your bonds, do you feel that any of your bonds have been resolved by either being completely explored or being no longer relevant or otherwise? Let's quickly go around with each person. We'll start with Mother.
Well, I think my bond with Kieran has tied up.
Okay. So
which was this is not my first adventure with Kieran.
Yeah, so you can mark that off and gain 1 experience.
Cool.
And
the rest I think are still applicable.
Yep. Also, do you feel like you've done something at least once this session that fulfills your alignment or challenge your alignment?
So my alignment is good, and my trigger for that is perform your art to aid someone else. I would say
good.
yes.
Yes.
Literally did that. Yeah.
Yeah, you did that in the same night, but not necessarily the same session. You did that.
Right.
You did that twice. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Then quickly with Sharmila.
No.
Bonds
None
and
of my
alignment?
bonds changed. They're all fine.
And what about alignment?
Defend those weaker than you. Not really. You could call it a stretch because I went out there and picked a fight with the head of the guard to try and get fucking food into these people, but
I will say yes.
But that's on you.
I will say yes. You did defend. You spoke for some. You basically defended someone who couldn't really speak for themselves at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah,
Sick.
1 XP. And Karuna, bonds and alignment.
Oh, Madora's is about to be there, but probably next session. Sharmila's hasn't. No. Honestly, Kieran's bond is not resolved. Probably not until I open the parcel. So I don't think any of my player bonds are there.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to open it right now if you want, or hang on to it if you feel care appropriately.
I'm feeling dramatic. I'm gonna hold on to it.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Definitely. And what about your alignment?
My alignment is good, and it triggers when I help something or someone grow. So I don't think that really happened.
I don't think you're there yet.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. All right, so now some group questions. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yes.
Super did, yeah. On a couple of different fronts. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So each of you get 1 XP for that. And then as a group, did you overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Not yet, I don't think.
No.
Unless you count that bartender and or the boss of that place as a notable enemy and what we did as overcoming. Otherwise, not so much.
No, not really. And then as a group, did you loot a memorable treasure?
Yeah, I've got sick new undies.
Yeah, could we not say the things from Kieran?
Yes, yes.
They were very gracious gifts.
So yeah. I was being a smart ass, by the way. You don't have to.
No. That is completely. Hey, really nice underwear is hard to find.
It's a good.
Got a really subtle panther print on it.
Oh my goodness, little paw prints.
Okay, so you get 1 more XP, and Karuna, yours is in waiting. Whenever it's a Schrodinger XP.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Well, I mean, hang on. Hey, no. Because we get the
1, and I love it.
Hang on, we get the end of session XP as a group.
Oh, yes,
I'm
then...
let Karuna lose out on XP because they...
Okay,
that's fair. I got it there. I got it. But
no,
I
actually, that is fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
That is a group XP, so yes, you get that one then.
Awesome.
Even if you have not opened it, you get it.
Gracious.
Okay, and I think with that settled, I will say that just because it's easier, between now and next session, you can take at least what would be considered in the D&D terms a short rest. So if you have enough XP to level, you would level at the start of next session.
You also, from one Dungeon World GM to the next, you don't have to be super adherent to, you must sleep to level up. You could just say, if you just want us to level up between sessions,
Yeah, okay, then, sure.
Don't sweat the narrative on it. We'll just do it.
Okay, then, if you have enough experience to level between now and the start of next session, you may do so.
Sick.
Sweet.
And with that, before we end the stream, let's quickly go around the horn and tell us who you are, where we can find you on the internet. I will start the opposite way, so Fox.
Hey, I remain Fox Barrett at Fox_Barrett on Twitter, where I'm still inactive. I'm working on it, folks. I'm in a bunch of stuff. Real quick rundown of everything that I'm in. Let's work backwards from it. Tuesdays, Politics and Plagues. You already know what it is. Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern Time, I typically produce our one-shot series, Side Quests. Last night, that was taken care of by our lovely Throck, who ran a cool pirate game. I don't have the schedule up in front of me, so I don't know what next week is. This is me stalling for time as I open up the schedule to take
for
a
the
look at
prom
what next week
queen.
is. For the Queen. Yes, they're running a For the Queen game, which is going to be prom queen flavored, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a bunch of people sniping at each other in a limo. Tune in Mondays, 9:30 Eastern Time. Before that, I'm on Emissaries of Avithna, Sunday nights, midnight EST, right here on the channel. Emissaries is amazing. Before that, on Sundays at 8 EST, I'm over on Devil's Luck Gaming, playing in their Shadowrun game. Also amazing. And then Saturdays is the Scum and Villainy game at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And that is me at the moment.
All right, and next is Simon.
Hello, I'm Simon. I played Mador today. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. I am on this show every Tuesday and no other shows at present. That may change. But if you are in the New England area and you're going to be up by Somerville and Boston, you can come by Ladies Con, organized by Kamikaze, local comic shop. It's an all women, all super queer inclusive convention where I will be tabling. And I'll be showing off stuff for a Decopunk LARP that I run called Attaway. If you want to learn more more about a LARP where you run magic drugs, which temporarily give you superpowers. In a time of prohibition, you can go to adawaylarp.com. Our finale event in Massachusetts is October 4th through 6th. We're full up on players, but we would love to have NPCs. So if you're in the greater Boston area, come hang out.
Awesome. And Jess.
That's me. I forgot to write my name there. Sorry. You're like, Karuna. I'm like, yes. Hey. I'm Jess. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter. That's probably the easiest way to figure out where I am. This month is busy for streams. On Mondays, I've got The Watch, another Powered by the Apocalypse game. Super important. Smashing the patriarchy and exploring dark themes. That is on Variant Roles. Twitches, and then Tuesdays here, and Thursdays on Unmade Gaming channel for Cypher System meets Cthulhu in Men of Letters.
Awesome. And I am Miriam, your GM. You can find me at Twitter at media_junkie. I am here on Tuesday afternoons running this amazing short shot with these amazing people. And in Dungeon World, and in addition, I will be I basically live on Welcome to the Party on the weekends, so I am in Stars Asunder with there you are, with Fox as our GM for Scum and Villainy game, where I play Somras the Stitch, the doctor. That's gonna be interesting. And then Adventures in Ugni with Angela as our GM. It's a POC, all POC D&D game set in the world of Ugni. And then on Sunday nights, Emissaries of Avitna, now also in Dungeon World, with amazing Kate as GM, and again with Fox as a player. Hey! And then I will also be partaking in For the Queen this coming Monday. And I am also the GM of the Musafirs. I do a lot of things. And coming up next will be Riffs with Kevin running the game by Sonic, and amazing players whose names I don't have right up in front of me, but they're all awesome.
Me, I'll be guesting.
Oh yeah, you'll be guesting.
That's about to happen, folks. Stick around, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. That's gonna be at 8 p.m. Eastern, and again, a big shout out to our sponsors, Roll20, as well as Devin Rue, Tabletop Loot, So Nerdware, sponsoring and supporting us. And if you want to continue the conversation, you can join us on our Discord. And right now, while we're waiting for the next show to begin, we are going to be raiding Midgardia. So everybody get all your emotes as we go raid as soon as I get this command going. Haha! So in a couple of seconds, we're gonna go. And hope you had a good time. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you same time next week. Bye!